Okay, we're going to start off here on EU. On the daily, we have EU on the top, DXY on the bottom. Now, what's the daily showing us? Well, so far this morning, we're starting off bullish, right? And that's coming from already opening below the previous daily low, taking that sell side liquidity possibly. Okay, and obviously a few days ago, we took sell side liquidity below this major low. So there's a case that could be built for higher prices. However, if we go over to DXY, I think we're getting some good signs from there. We have still the SMC divergence on the higher time frame, right, which is indicating weaker DXY possibly. We've also opened above previous daily high for buy side liquidity. We've also taken the previous day before that's buy side liquidity with this wick. Let me zoom in some more. So with this wick above here, we've taken previous day, the day before that, and then I believe we may have just slightly taken the previous weekly high, if so, not by much. However, that is a significant area of buy side liquidity, so that may be what's driving that price down right now on DXY and up on EU. Right, there'll be some internal divergence as well, I'm sure, because this low to this higher low and this high to this possible higher high. Either way, we have this high as well to this higher low. So there's definitely some more divergence in there indicating a stronger EU. So we're very bearish at the moment. Let's go down to the 4 hour. Let's see what that looks like for us. Now on the 4 hour, I wouldn't say our structure has changed. We're still in a bearish structure, therefore bearish trend. Okay. As I noted, we have taken major sell side liquidity here a couple of days ago. And today we've already opened or taken the sell side liquidity below previous daily low. However, I believe the leg from here to here on the 4 hour is our external bearish leg. So currently we're pulling back still within that leg. We have a possible resistance still here with this 4 hour order block with imbalance, okay, which we're making our way towards. So we may be getting drawn towards this order block here. And just above that, we have another order block 4 hour and 1 hour, okay, which basically now has inducement as well. So while we're still within this external order block, in my opinion, we're still bearish. However, if we do close above this high here, we do have an internal break of structure. Okay, so that may be our first early signs on the 4 hour that we are going to continue bullish. At the moment now, I will still be looking for, if we break down from here, as a possible resistance, and if not there, maybe at the previous daily high or this area here, because our structure is still bearish. I'll just be more wary that we may now be going into a bullish trend or order flow somewhat from this area down here. Now this possible temporary bullish move may be coming from, again, as I said, previous weekly high being slightly swept. We have the same draw on price below here that may provide support again on DXY. So these may either be equal highs or a slight sweep. Either way, there'll be relative equal highs by the looks of it. And we seem to be pulling back towards this 4 hour POI and this 4 hour POI here, where we may find support and resistance. So we may still yet continue a bullish dollar and a bearish EU. Let's go down to the 1 hour. Let's see what that has to say about it. So now we've analyzed the 4 hour and we're into this 1 hour. Of course, with the structure, I'll still say I'm leaning towards that bearish bias, right, with these possible resistances here, and we're yet to really switch structure on the higher time frame. So if we look here on the 1 hour, of course we have our possible new bullish leg up here, but we have broken down below this low. So I do see us as still potentially bearish. All of this looking like sell side liquidity, obviously. We've mitigated most of it, but there is still some left leading down towards this previous weekly low. We took the buy side liquidity from above this high here and then fell bearish, okay? And then we still have our resistance points above. So within that 4 hour order block, which I'll just remove for now so it's clearer, we have a nice clear 1 hour order block that took buy side liquidity above this high here. We took that high and broke down. So we still have to watch out for this as resistance. I don't want to see this bullish behavior here as a new trend just yet. I want to see what price does with this area, and if we break down, I'll be looking for shorts, okay? And hopefully if that is in line on DXY, we have the same 1 hour order block within that 4 hour order block, right, that may show as support, and then we're going to continue that trend. However, in the meantime, I will say, coming from this discount here, with all this sell side liquidity and possible buy side liquidity taken from here, we may have some good quality pullbacks to ride up into this area here. So this for me is a draw on price. We have been bullish this morning from these lows. Internally now you'll see we've probably got an M15 break of structure above this high here, and we may look to continue towards this point here, which may be resistance. So we could possibly see longs, and then ultimately we'll see if this zone is respected here for those with trend shorts. Let's go down to the M15, let's see what that looks like as well, and draw out some possible scenarios. Okay, so as suspected here on the M15, we do have that break above this high here. So we do have a internal structure break that's giving some bullish indication, at least for the pullback towards this zone here. Now, once we get up to this zone here, we can see there are clear M15 order blocks awaiting us within the 1 hour order block as well. So possible resistances here. I'm not going to set an order here. Like I said, price may want to come up here for buy side liquidity or to this. So again, what I'll be waiting for is for price to creep up into this zone here, mitigate this M15 order block possibly within this 1 hour and 4 hour order block, and then break down, break of structure, right, confirming this zone as resistance, pull back to our M15 order block, then I'll be trading towards that discount. So look something like this, possibly sweeping internal buy side liquidity above that high, mitigating this zone here, giving us a break of structure, leaving behind an order block with imbalance from that momentum, right, where we broke structure around here. Then we pull back, possibly corrective, leaving this inducement here, and we can set our order with our stop loss just above the high, aiming towards a discount for whatever percentage fits your plan. Mine would be around 3%. Okay, so that's what I would see. I want to see this area hold. I want to see structure formed at the top here in some way. Then we break down below that structure, leaving behind the order block, possibly correctively pulling back like this, and then aiming back down towards what would be a weak low here because it respects this high. So that's what I would like to see. Now, in terms of pullbacks, of course we have broken above here. We may get some sort of continuation stuff, but I don't have any structure here that I like. If we was to come back down to this, say, order block here, I imagine the lows will get swept because they look like relatively equal lows there. So if we pull back, yeah, I'm not going to set an order here. I want to see a better structure than this. Yeah, I don't see any longs to get into here. I'd want the longs to look something like this as well, right? Maybe we pull back, maybe we break above again, and then pull back to a M15 order block here to continue up. So maybe we'll get something like this on an M5 or M15, okay? At the moment, I don't see anything that I want to enter on for a long. So that's everything on EU. Let's move on to our next pair. So let's quickly go through GU here because it's obviously quite similar. It will have its slight differences here. So if we look at the daily, what's the daily showing us? Well, I believe we have room to continue going down and fill this gap here. So we may still be bearish after all, especially on GU. It may be a bit more obvious that we have this POY to fill here. Now, if we're looking at our current day, we've taken the same sell side liquidity from the previous daily low. And obviously if DXY is bearish from this buy side liquidity here, it will send GU up. So there is the possibility of a bullish GU here if DXY is to continue lower from this buy side liquidity. But we have that possible draw down here. But let's go down to the 4 hour. Let's see what our structure shows us. So again, on the 4 hour, I believe the structure is still bearish, right? We have these little mini legs here, but in terms of the 4 hour, I'll probably count the leg from up here to down here. So I don't think we have an obvious switch yet. However, at the moment, where we've pulled up here and taken this buy side liquidity, we're yet to continue and make a lower low. So there's the possibility this could be a weak high here, but we still have only partially mitigated this imbalance, right? So again, it may be a bit of a confusing picture, but until we start breaking above these highs here, right, this would be an early indication of a bullish internal structure break. So this would still be internal, but it'd be a good sign that we're going to continue bullish. We've just gone into this 4 hour imbalance there with an order block behind it, so we may reject that and start to see that bearish pressure. Okay, so we've taken buy side liquidity last from above these highs. Okay, we've mitigated this zone somewhat, but there's definitely still room to go down. So I still do see a bearish picture. However, as we know, right now, DXY is bearish. So we may see some support form here, which I'm not sure where that's going to be on DXY, of course, because these aren't correlated in the same way as EU, but there's still a possibility of holding some resistance around here or up here, and then DXY mitigating this and going bullish, right? So we'll see what that looks like. Let's go down to the 1 hour, see if we can clear up that structure. Right, so on the 1 hour, it's similar to EU. We had our external 1 hour leg from like this high to this low. We've pulled back and taking the buy side liquidity from it. Okay, we didn't close above it, which would have been better for maybe a bullish bias. We swept that buy side liquidity, gone into this old 1 hour POY here, mitigated it some more, and then broke down internally, making a new lower low. So on the 1 hour, we then went and made a new low low. We left behind an imbalance with order block, so that's definitely a possible resistance, and we could possibly continue our bearish trend from this point here. So I'll be waiting for price to pull back to here most likely, and the same with EU. We may get that draw to this area here and see some bullish price action. That won't be my main aim to take advantage of, right? It would have to look very clear to go long in this situation. But I do see this as draw on price up here. I do believe we've broken down again internally to look bearish from this buy side liquidity up here. So this POY may coincide with this POY, and we may get a continuation of that trend. Right, so I'll be looking for moves up here. So let's go down to the M15. So same with EU. I'm going to want price to continue making its way up here, right? Come into this zone, mitigate this 1 hour POY and maybe this M15 POY here, and then break down, right? That clear break of structure below this low, possibly with momentum, leaving a imbalance and order block behind here to continue that possible trend. Right, so it look like this, exact same as on EU. Possible buy side liquidity mitigated internally. When we create structure up here, we'd have a possible M15 order block, right, being mitigated at the same time. Then we break our structure, pull back, possibly corrective to our order block here, where we'd set our order, stop loss above the high, to trade back down towards a discount. Okay, so that's what I see. I think the internal 1 hour structure is quite clear, breaking below this low. But again, I'll wait for this zone here to hold and then break down to give me a bit more of a confirmation of this POI. I don't see anything great for me to trade off of on the M15 here, so I'll probably leave these longs alone unless we create some structure and then break above again. Let's move on to our last pair now. So the last pair I think worth showing today is AU, again a USD correlated pair. Now if we look here on AU, we have swept our previous weekly low and previous daily low sell side liquidity here. So you can see that on the daily, and that's caused price, which was initially bearish, right? You can see from the open we had quite a bearish candle. We've now retracted, pulled back, and we're coming towards the previous daily weekly low. So that sell side liquidity is having quite an effect here, and also of course it's related to the USD. So USD being bearish at the moment is obviously helping price move bullish. So there's a possibility of seeing a bullish AU just from analyzing the sell side liquidity of this daily and its possible support area here. Let's go down to the 4 hour though and see what the bigger picture is. Right, the 4 hour spells the same picture as the others obviously. Right, after such a bearish trend, the structure has not yet changed on the 4 hour. Right, so that is clear. Okay, so that always will lead us to favoring a bearish bias here, but we are currently in a discount and have taken plenty of sell side liquidity, right? And DXY is giving a bearish pullback, so we may have the possibility of longs up into this draw on price here, which is a 4 hour order block in the premium of our 4 hour leg. So I'd still see this as the 4 hour leg here, because we did take buy side liquidity above some highs here, right? Mitigate a POY essentially and then break down, making a lower low below these lows. We have other legs above, right, with unmitigated POYs, which may be resistance, say, in the future. At the moment, this is the first clear point of resistance here. And obviously it seems to line up with DXY as possible support, possible resistance. So we may see these zones mitigated later to continue to trend. Let's go down to the 1 hour and see if that agrees. Yeah, so what I like about this pair is so far it's not really ambiguous. I can see the legs very clearly. 1 hour looks very clear, right? We can see that the 1 hour bearish leg, buy side liquidity above these highs. Okay, taking that buy side liquidity, broken down, completing a new lower low below all of these lows here where it consolidated previously. We have a 1 hour POY within that 4 hour POY, just like we do on EU, right? Imbalance, it's a draw on price. We're in a discount. We may see bullish behavior up into this area that we can take advantage of, but then we'll have those high quality shorts if we break down from here. So very clear leg, right? If we was to show you, we have an obvious premium and discount. We're still in the discount. All of this seems mitigated, so I don't see anything that could serve as resistance until obviously we take the buy side liquidity here. We'll see what comes of it, but this would be where I'd be looking for shorts. Okay, so let's go down to the M15 and look at trading scenarios for this morning. Right, so to me this is all very much still a trend line of that Asia and the evening from Friday overnight liquidity. Right, so it looks like something we can just mitigate here. We may have some resistance around this point here in this buy side liquidity again, as there's a order block where price broke down from on the lower time frame. But I think ultimately this is the draw on price here. M15 order block within that as well. Typically this is the resistance, and of course I'll be waiting for this to hold as well. Right, I don't want to just set an order here. I'd rather see price break down and get in on my day trade. So of course, what I want to see is similar to EU and GU, right, where we're going to have these possible continuations of that bearish order flow. I want to see price break down from this zone here after mitigating it, clear break of structure right below one of these lows, and then a pullback to this point here, which should be an order block with imbalance to then continue short. Okay, especially if we keep moving like this, we're going to leave a naughty trend line. Now we are quite far from this zone here, as you can see currently in price, so forgive the drawing here, but you get what I mean. We're going to have possible corrective price action up into this zone, and then we can respect our 4-hour, 1-hour POI, break our structure again as we have on the other pairs, and then leave behind our order block with imbalance to set our order from, with our possible inducement obviously from a corrective pullback around this zone here. Possible internal buy side liquidity swept as well as we create structure up there. So something like this would be a weak low if we respect this high, so it'd be the sell side liquidity target in my opinion. So we'll see what comes of this. Alright, we'll see how well AU moves. It may break down earlier, but it doesn't really matter. So that's everything. I hope that was clear. I hope you gained value from that. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.